Most drivers in America still believe something that simply isn't true anymore. They believe that if they are polite, cooperative, and respectful during a traffic stop, everything will work out fine, that the officer will appreciate their honesty, that explaining themselves will somehow make the situation better. Let me be very clear with you. In a courtroom, after watching hundreds of body camera videos, reading transcripts, and arguing suppression hearings, I can tell you that politeness is not what protects you on the road anymore. Procedure protects you. And if you don't understand the procedures behind the new driving laws that started appearing around 2025, you could walk away from what seems like a simple traffic stop with a $500 problem in your pocket and a court date you didn't see coming. Now, before anyone misunderstands what I'm saying, I'm not telling you to be rude. I'm not telling you to fight with police. I'm not telling you to create a scene. But there is a phrase, a very specific phrase, that sits quietly in the background of almost every successful defense case involving a traffic stop. The phrase is simple. I'm not answering questions. That's it. Not aggressive, not insulting, not complicated. I'm not answering questions. You would be amazed how many legal disasters could have been avoided if people understood when and why that phrase matters, especially under the newer enforcement trends that have quietly changed how traffic laws are applied, because the real cost of these new driving laws is not always the ticket itself. The real cost is what you say. Now here's where this gets complicated. Most people think a traffic stop is about one thing, the reason the officer pulled you over. Maybe it's speeding, maybe it's a rolling stop. Maybe it's a phone in your hand at a red light. Maybe it's a new automated enforcement zone, which many states began expanding heavily around 2024 and 2025. But the moment those red and blue lights come on, something else begins happening behind the scenes, a legal investigation. And the difference between a warning and a $500 citation often begins with a conversation that feels casual, friendly, almost harmless. Where are you coming from tonight? Do you know how fast you were going? Is there a reason you were driving through that school zone? Now listen carefully, because this is where most people walk straight into the trap. These questions are not random. They are designed to produce admissions that make tickets easier to issue, easier to defend in court, and much harder for a defense attorney to challenge later. Because once you say something like, yeah, I might have been going a little fast, you've just done half the prosecutor's job for them. And this matters more today than it did 10 years ago, because many of the newer driving enforcement policies carry automatic financial penalties that escalate quickly. Hands-free driving violations, school zone camera citations, move-over law violations, passing stopped emergency vehicles, blocking intersections, driving in restricted traffic lanes. Some of these start around $200, but when you add court costs, processing fees, administrative penalties, and sometimes insurance consequences, the total number quietly approaches or exceeds $500. And yet the most important evidence in many of these cases is not radar. It's not a camera. It's a statement. Your statement. Let me give you a real kind of scenario I've seen play out over and over again. A driver is heading home from work. It's late. Traffic is light. They pass through an intersection where a city recently installed automated enforcement cameras tied to pedestrian zones. An officer stops them 2 blocks later. The officer walks up calmly. Hey, how are you tonight? Good. Do you know why I stopped you? Now this is the moment that determines how the rest of the encounter unfolds. Most people answer. They guess. Was I speeding? I might have rolled the stop sign. I didn't see the pedestrian. What they don't realize is that these guesses become statements recorded on body camera footage, and when that footage appears in court later, it doesn't look like guessing. It looks like admitting. Now this is the part most people misunderstand. You are required to identify yourself during a lawful traffic stop. You provide your driver's license, registration, and insurance. But the law, grounded in the Fifth Amendment, does not require you to answer investigative questions. That is the legal foundation behind the phrase, I'm not answering questions. And I want you to notice something about that phrase. It doesn't accuse the officer of anything. It doesn't escalate. It doesn't challenge authority. It simply draws a quiet boundary between cooperation and self-incrimination. But here's where the reality of the street becomes different from the theory of the Constitution. Let me be honest with you. When people assert their rights during a traffic stop, officers sometimes react in ways that make the encounter longer, colder, and more uncomfortable. Not illegal, just uncomfortable. Because from the officer's perspective, silence removes information they use to evaluate situations quickly. So when a driver says calmly, "I'm not answering questions," it can change the tone. You may notice longer pauses, more observation, sometimes additional verification, and that's the hard truth. Asserting your rights may cost you time, it may cost you convenience, but it can save you money, points on your license, and sometimes much larger legal problems. Because once words leave your mouth, they become evidence, and evidence doesn't disappear. Now here's where things turn. Officers are trained, very well trained, to use ambiguity during traffic stops. Ambiguity is powerful. For example, an officer might say something like this: "Look, I'm just trying to understand what happened." That sounds harmless, but legally, it's still questioning. Or they might say, "If you were just distracted by your phone, it's not a big deal." That statement is an invitation. Because if you respond with something like, "Yeah, I glanced at it for a second," you've just confirmed the violation. And under many of the newer hands-free driving laws implemented across multiple states by 2025, that admission alone can justify a significant fine. Now think about the psychology involved here. You're sitting in your car, adrenaline is rising, your heart rate increases, your brain shifts into what psychologists call compliance mode. Most humans want to resolve tension quickly. We talk more when we're nervous, we explain, we apologize, we try to make the moment less awkward, but the law does not reward nervous explanations, it records them. Now imagine a courtroom months later, the body camera footage plays. The officer asks, "Were you using your phone?" You say, "Just for a second." And suddenly the entire case becomes simple, because the central evidence is not the officer's observation, it's your confirmation. Now here's where this gets even more interesting. There are exceptions and gray areas in nearly every traffic law. School zone speeds sometimes depend on flashing lights being active. Move-over laws depend on lane availability. Hands-free violations sometimes depend on active use versus device handling. Camera enforcement zones depend on signage. Those gray areas are where defense attorneys work. But when a driver supplies a clear admission, those gray areas disappear. That's the trap. And it's why the phrase matters. I'm not answering questions. Now I want to talk about body language for a moment because people underestimate how much nonverbal behavior influences traffic stops. When officers approach a vehicle, they are evaluating risk, hands, movements, tone of voice, eye contact. If you decide to use that phrase, "I'm not answering questions," it must be delivered calmly, hands visible, voice steady, no sarcasm, no hostility. Something like this works perfectly. "I'll provide my license and registration, but I'm not answering questions." Simple, respectful, clear, and then you stop talking. Because the moment people say the phrase and then keep talking, they undo the protection it provides. Now let me give you a case example that illustrates how small details can change everything. A driver was pulled over near a highway construction zone where fines were doubled. The officer believed the driver was speeding through the zone. On body camera, the first thing the officer asked was, "Were you aware you were going almost 10 miles over through a construction area?" The driver laughed nervously and said, "I guess I didn't notice the workers." That one sentence turned a debatable radar reading into an admission of awareness. The court treated it as confirmation that the driver recognized the construction zone and failed to slow down. The final penalty, after court costs and zone enhancements, was well over $500. The radar evidence alone might have been challenged. The admission could not. Now this is the part many people struggle with. They ask me, "If I say I'm not answering questions, won't that make the officer suspicious?" Maybe, but suspicion is not evidence. Your words are. And when you watch enough body camera footage, as I have, you begin to see a pattern. Drivers talk themselves into tickets far more often than officers talk them into trouble. It happens quietly. A casual conversation, a friendly explanation, a nervous joke, and suddenly a routine stop becomes documented proof of a violation. This is where it turns. Because the goal during a traffic stop is not to win an argument. It's to avoid creating evidence. That's it. Avoid creating evidence. And the simplest tool for doing that is still the same phrase. I'm not answering questions. Now let me address something else honestly. Some viewers will hear this and think it sounds confrontational, but when delivered correctly, it isn't. It's procedural. The same way officers follow procedures. Drivers can follow procedures too. Provide identification, keep hands visible, remain calm, decline questioning, and wait. Sometimes the officer writes a ticket. Sometimes they don't. But the encounter stays within the boundaries the law allows. Now imagine the opposite scenario. The driver talks freely, explains, speculates, admits uncertainty. That conversation becomes the foundation of the case, and by the time a defense attorney sees the file months later, the damage is already done. Now here's something most people never consider. Traffic stops are recorded almost everywhere now. Dash cameras, body cameras, intersection cameras, license plate readers, automated enforcement systems, which means every word spoken during that encounter can appear later in a courtroom where tone, context, and nervous humor look very different. What sounded casual on the roadside becomes formal evidence under fluorescent lights. And juries and judges tend to trust recorded statements. So the smartest move is often the quietest one. I'm not answering questions. Now I want to explain what to do if an officer continues questioning after you say it. Because this happens. Sometimes officers rephrase. Sometimes they circle back. Sometimes they present questions as statements. You weren't texting, were you? You saw the sign back there, right? The strategy remains the same. Repeat the boundary calmly. I'm not answering questions. No lectures, no legal debates, just the phrase, and silence afterward. Eventually, the officer will move forward with whatever decision they were already leaning toward. Now let me leave you with the hardest truth of all. There is no magic phrase that guarantees you won't get a ticket. None. An officer can still issue a citation. They can still document observations. They can still rely on radar, cameras, or witness reports. But what you can control is the one piece of evidence that begins with you, your words. So if you drive in America, especially under the expanding enforcement environment we've seen developing around 2025, you should practice that phrase until it becomes automatic. Not angry, not defensive, just calm and clear. I'm not answering questions. Say it in your head when you drive. Imagine the moment the lights appear in your mirror. Imagine the officer walking to your window. Because in that moment, your heart will be racing. Your brain will be flooded with adrenaline. And the last thing you want to rely on is improvisation. You want the response to be automatic. I'm not answering questions. Because on the road today, the difference between a routine stop and a $500 lesson is often just a few sentences. And the safest sentence you can choose is the one you never expand beyond those 4 words.